They literally are stealthy. They're opportunists, and they will live in you for decades.
This is the Pursuit of Wellness podcast, and I'm your host, Mari Llewellyn. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Pursuit of Wellness. Today, I am so excited for this guest. We are speaking to Kim Rogers, also known as the Worm Queen. You may have seen her on TikTok. She is really an expert with all things parasites, and she's also one of the only people on the internet talking about this topic. She's a wellness professional with over 18 years of experience in Western medicine. She has contributed to many medical publications, and now she's really dedicated herself to parasites. She founded Rogers Hood Apothecary, which created the viral Parasite Cleanse Kit, which gained traction on TikTok and Instagram. She is putting out information on a topic that none of us want to talk about, but we all need to. It turns out that about 95% of people have a parasite. So today we talk about the symptoms of having a parasite, where you may be contracting it from, how to cleanse from a parasite, the different types of parasites you can have. We discuss sushi, seafood, how to clean your produce, what could be in your water, how to purify your water, ozone therapy, lymphatic drainage, how to order water correctly at a restaurant, oxygen therapy, castor oil packs, and so much more. It honestly is kind of a terrifying topic, but I have to say, Kim makes it so digestible and so approachable. I personally plan on taking the cleanse before I do IVF because I want to see what's going on in my body. And I think the fabulous part about what Kim is doing is she's really helping people take their health into their own hands, figure out what's going on in their bodies. I highly recommend you guys check out her social media. She has so many resources, so much great content. So let's hop into this conversation and learn about all things parasites. Kim, welcome to the Pursuit of Wellness.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited. We have never done a parasite episode on this show, and I feel like that's very telling of the parasite industry. I'm not sure what to call it, but it really isn't spoken about enough, and you are the parasite expert on social media. You're known as the Worm Queen.
Yep.
Beautiful.
I was crowned as the Worm Queen. Well, I didn't want to be known as the Worm Lady. Like, that's just not like elegant.
It's not good. First of all, it's not good enough. Like, you are a queen. Seriously, you're putting out so much amazing information. You're also the founder of Rogers Hood Apothecary.
Yes.
Which is where you have your parasite cleanses. I am so excited to try those one day.
So excited.
And I've just seen everyone on TikTok talking about them. I mean, it's become kind of a sensation.
Yeah.
I'd love to start all the way at the beginning to your health journey. How did you become so knowledgeable about parasites?
Well, I actually have 2 healthcare degrees, and I worked in Western medicine since 2004. I ran 25 healthcare colleges, and I authored multiple books. I did a lot of curriculum. I just overall love medicine. So when my healthcare journey changed my health in 2019, my husband and I decided that we were going to get our affairs in order and go out to our recreational property and heal me. I was kind of circling the drain. I was swollen. I wasn't going to the bathroom. We didn't know what was wrong with me. I had had 13 surgeries and a hysterectomy when I was 29. And then 5 surgeries before my hysterectomy, 5 surgeries after my hysterectomy.
Wow.
And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. They just kept coming in and cutting. Take this medication, try this, do this. And nothing was working. So my husband and I decided to he quit his job, became my caretaker, and ended up figuring out what was wrong with me.
You took it into your own hands.
I did. And luckily I have the knowledge. I do have the knowledge to sit down and really go, well, if I don't want to take Big Pharma's medication, but I want to take an herb, what would that look like for me? Would my body respond better to that?
So I think I heard you say you had endometriosis and chronic Lyme.
Yeah. So I had endometriosis, adenomyosis. I got multiple different autoimmune labels. I didn't find out I had chronic Lyme until actually last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long does chronic Lyme stay in the system?
I probably have had it since I was young. I remember being bit by a tick when I was 10. So, and then I started having behavioral issues and kind of presenting, but I'm 46 years old. So 26 years ago or 36 years ago, this wasn't a thing. So,
And not one of the doctors you saw brought up the idea of parasites.
Parasites or mold or Lyme. No, not once.
So what led you to parasites? Like, how did you even discover that could be the issue?
So about 5 years before I went viral in 2021 on TikTok, I thought that I had parasites. I thought I had pinworms. And when I went to my doctor, she's like, no, that's not something that happens here in Western medicine. We're a first world country. You're an adult. You don't have pinworms. Okay, no problem. No problem at all. I don't have pinworms. I had gone and looked at colonics, so I do know that I was kind of researching it a little bit, but I just kind of let it go. And then I was watching a video on TikTok in like May of 2021, and she said she almost offed herself over parasites. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And so I started kind of researching it and looking, and then I got that cleanse that she was talking about.
And did you?
Within 3 days, I saw pinworms, liver flukes, and roundworm. Within 3 days.
Okay.
I know.
I think this is the part where people are like, oh my God, like,
Shock.
I don't even want to know if I have them
Yeah.
because I'm scared, but I do think it's important to talk about.
It's so important.
So you said pinworms, liver flukes, and
roundworm.
okay. How did you know?
Oh, you can see them. Oh, you know. Usually during the full moon, I had flares. I had itchy butt. Like, that's why I always joke around about it. You know, if you have itchy butt, you should be conscientious about what's going on.
Yeah.
And I could feel movement. Like, there was times I could feel movement.
Under the skin.
Under the skin. Yeah.
Okay.
I would cough weird things up.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a thing.
So, okay, maybe I'm going to sound ignorant,
No.
but do parasites always come out when you're like going to the bathroom, or do they come out of other places too?
They can come out anywhere. When you start to make your body inhospitable, they will come out.
Okay.
So, and that includes not just doing a parasite cleanse, but when you eat something like pumpkin seeds, that is an antiparasitic. So you've disrupted their home, and they're going to start to kind of lay eggs, because that's their first instinct, is to keep their generations going. So they're going to lay some eggs, and then they're going to try and evacuate because you've made your body inhospitable and they don't want to live in you.
And they could come out of skin?
Yep. Skin, eyes, nose, mouth, ears, any orifice that you have, they can escape. And the skin, especially because it has pores. So they're just going to come out the pores.
Okay.
I had them come out of my feet with the fulvic soak.
No.
Yeah, it's on
And
video.
that's one of the products you sell with the
Yeah.
cleanse. Okay. So let's start at the beginning.
Okay,
for everyone
let's
listening. What are some of the most you see
I know it's wild,
my
right?
eyes are like no, but it's important. It
is.
really is. And
It is so important. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's something that just, when I started going viral in July of 2021, 1 million people in 2 hours watched my video. It literally shut my phone off. TikTok wouldn't let me open it for a few hours. And it just kept rolling. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is something. Something is going on here. And a lot of my information that I got was from my comments, because people do this. They just don't want to talk about it.
what are some of the most common symptoms of having a parasite for anyone listening who's like, oh my gosh, how do I know if I have one?
Grinding the teeth is a big one.
Oh.
And that's so unexpected that people just think they have TMJ. But really, you're grinding your teeth because your lymphatic system and your nervous system is totally off balance and your body's trying to tell you something. So they're grinding their teeth. Then usually an IBS, some sort of gut issues is a big one, just because they live in the gut, but they don't just live in the gut. They live in our blood, our tissue, and our muscle. They can burrow in. They can live in the cells. Yeah. So usually grinding the teeth, skin issues is a huge one. That was a big one for me because I have great skin. I know I have good skin. I take care of my skin. And I could not get rid of these. Like, they were almost like a sore on my face.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get rid of them.
I mean, you and I talked about this a little bit, but I had cystic acne for 10 years and recently discovered that I had H. pylori. And That's not a parasite, right? It's a bacteria.
It's within the world of parasites because it's eating off of you. It's a bacteria that's living in your gut that's eating off of you. A parasite definition is living off the host.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy because when I think about, I mean, I've talked about it so much, but my acne journey, like it took over my life. And I did every lab test, every poop test. And for some reason, no one called out the H. pylori and no one really looked at the parasites. It was like, okay, you have mold, you have heavy metals, you have ochratoxin A, or, we saw things, but we never focused on the H. pylori. And it's interesting to me now when I see girls struggling with acne or skin issues, it's almost like you need to go to so many different doctors just to have the one person call it out. And really, you need to be your own advocate.
You do. That's what I'm trying to teach people.
Yeah.
To be their own patient advocate. Because at the end of the day, it's you that has to live with you and figure out what's wrong.
Yeah.
And once you start to clear these environmental toxins, you'll be able to feel your own gut intuition, really kind of center yourself and figure out what's going on with you. Because they're there to help you. They're not there to do it for you.
Guys, the holidays are here and I absolutely love gift giving. It is the best feeling to see someone open something that they love. And that's why my go-to is Quince. It is quality gifts for an affordable price. It's that little bit of luxury that they didn't even know they were missing. Quince lets you treat your loved ones and yourself to everyday luxury at an affordable price. I am personally obsessed with Quince's iconic Mongolian cashmere sweaters. They start at $50 and make the perfect gift. Or for the ultimate year-round gifts, check out their 14-karat gold jewelry, Italian leather handbags, or European linen sheet sets. Whatever you're looking for, Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. How do they do that? They partner directly with top factories, cutting out the cost of the middleman, which passes the savings on to you. Gift luxury this season without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/POW for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/POW to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/POW. The holiday season is here. We're all traveling, we're all on the go, and that's why I'm obsessed with my Bite toothpaste. Not only is it so convenient to bring in my travel bag, but it isn't filled with harsh chemicals or artificial flavors or preservatives, which most commercial toothpastes are. Bite makes dried toothpaste tablets with clean ingredients that are sulfate-free, palm oil-free, and glycerin-free. They're so convenient, you just pop a bit in your mouth, chew it up, and start brushing. It will turn into the paste you're used to with no plastic tube or messy paste. They also come in refillable glass jars and they send refills in compostable pouches, so they're better for our bodies and the earth. No more plastic toothpaste tubes. Their sleek glass bottles and jars look amazing on your vanity and elevate your shelfie game. No hiding gooey plastic tubs here. Bite is offering our listeners 20% off your first order. Go to trybite.com/POW or use code POW at checkout to claim this deal. That's TRYBITE.com/POW, POW. What lab testing do you recommend people get done to figure out if they have a parasite? Or do you think there's no need to and to just do the cleanse regardless?
I believe that you should do at least one stool test to get an idea, but you can parasite cleanse without doing a stool test. Other countries, they just do it like 2-3 times a year. They go and get an antiparasitic at the pharmacy like Mexico does, and they just take it. They just know that this is something that is common in the water, in our food, in fish, in meat that's undercooked, raw produce, going in a lake, walking barefoot. These are all things that you can catch a parasite and they know it. We just don't know it here in Western medicine countries. It's just not something that we've ever really talked about or considered could be an option of us doing it. So I just recommend as a good practice, you do it 3 to 4 times a year. So we do it seasonally. That's what we do, group cleanses with Rogers Hood Apothecary, with the Parafy kit. We do all of the things in order for us to kind of guide you and help you to do it 3 to 4 times a year. It's not going to hurt you. These herbs we're all natural, third-party tested. It's a really great cleanse that ends up just helping you kind of reset your body a little bit, getting rid of some heavy metals, getting rid of some parasites, candida. So I feel like it's just something that we should all be doing as a good practice in our lives.
I remember you mentioning there was a certain test you did at the beginning.
Right. Oh, yeah. Back to the test.
Yeah. No, I know people are going to ask.
Oh, yeah. So I did a stool test with parasites.org, but I actually did it with LabCorp, the same stool. And that's when I found out I had Cryptosporidium parvium, which is parvo, which kills puppies.
Yeah.
And we got that from our water. So this whole thing is because our water was contaminated in Hoodsport.
So, okay, where is that, by the way?
In Washington.
In Washington, okay.
Yeah.
Did LabCorp catch it or did
No.
Okay, they didn't even catch it.
No, they didn't catch it. And I do understand how labs work because I worked in training lab technicians. So I understand why they didn't catch it and how it's possible they didn't catch it. But no, they didn't catch it. And it was the same stool. So I did one stool that went to parasites.org and I did one stool that went to LabCorp.
And parasites.org caught it.
Right. And they go Arizona to Mexico. That's where their lab is.
Okay, yeah, because I have done a stool test that they actually send off to like Europe or something.
Yes, because they're more educated. They
crazy.
understand. They believe this is a thing. They all do. But when you have a lab technician that is just looking at it for a few minutes, first off, your stool sits, right? So anything that could have been alive or moving around is dead. And if they don't know what they're looking for, they get like 3 minutes and then they look at it. Oh, no, there's nothing there. They mark it negative, but at the bottom of your lab slip, it says this is not in lieu of a parasitic infection. So
what are they even looking for then at LabCorp?
usually eggs and ova.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just looking for very specifics. And if they don't have like a DNA structure to look or guide them to understand what it looks like, it's just negative and move on. Unfortunately, with insurance, it has to be positive to pay for your medication for what could be going on. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. So that's why we went independent with everything.
Okay, so do you guys now offer testing?
We don't offer it, but you can go on all of my links, and parasites.org is on that link. Anybody can go to my links. Everything in my links is you can self-serve.
That is amazing. Honestly, I think that is the biggest barrier to entry for so many people because I mean, I've worked with so many different holistic doctors. It's so expensive.
It is.
And I hate to even recommend it to people because I'm like, the average person cannot afford this. And it should be available to everyone. Like it should be easily accessed to figure out what's going on in our own bodies. It drives me crazy when if you go to a doctor and get lab testing done, they don't even want you to see the results.
And that's how you educate yourself, is to see, oh, there's a marker and I'm kind of in the middle. What do I need to do to adjust it? And that's kind of where the patient advocate side of you as a human needs to say, I'd like a copy of it.
Yeah.
And then go online and just kind of look. They'll literally give you the ranges on the side. So it's up to you, though, to actually ask for it. And they'll give it to you. You just have to ask for it.
Yeah, and that's the part I think people get nervous because they feel intimidated by the doctor or whatever it may be. I've gotten ruthless at this point. I don't care. I'm like, I'm asking every question. I'm being annoying because I don't care anymore.
Good. You should be.
You have to.
Yeah, it's your body.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you have to literally figure out what's going on. They're seeing so many patients a day that unfortunately they'll come in, they'll see you, they'll look at the stuff, and then they'll leave. Yeah. And that really, they're not going to give it another thought. I've been doing this for 20 years. So this was really kind of a thing when I worked in the field. Why don't you guys give more time with your patients? I know it's a money-driven thing, but unfortunately, you have people that are getting sicker. And I don't believe that we all have autoimmune disease issues. I believe we have an environmental toxin epidemic.
Thank you.
Because that's what all of this is. I had mold poisoning while we were building our log home from our travel trailer that we were living in while I was building. My husband and I got very sick from mold. The water is what caused me to realize I had parasites, but our water was contaminated. That's an environmental toxin. Lyme is a tick that bit me That's an environmental toxin. And
Agree.
unless you find an educated doctor, you're really on your own to keep digging, putting Band-Aids on it with medications and not getting to a root cause, which is why I developed the Parasite kit, because it's just helpful to get to a root cause of what could be going on. This may not be your only issue, but it's a big issue in our country, especially if you eat salmon, sushi, raw fish. I mean, seriously, raw produce out because you don't know how it was prepared.
Yeah. No, I really want to dive into like where these things are coming from. And I so agree with you. I feel like on this show, I've had expert after expert come on and say infertility's rising, PCOS is rising, gut health issues are rising. And I think it's all from environmental toxins, and we're not really talking about it enough. Where are the most common places to contract parasites from?
Pets.
Okay, pets is on my list.
I'm sorry.
You know, that's, I think, how I got H. pylori.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. They're out there and they're drinking out of puddles. They're licking their bums. They're
eating poop.
Yeah, they're eating poop. They're, it's just.
My dog eats roadkill sometimes.
Okay, they're eating roadkill, which. Oh my goodness.
And then I'm like, oh my God.
And then you let your dog lick you.
Yeah, I've
and
been way more conscious about it. I'm like, did you give me acne for 10 years? Because I'm going to freak out. But yeah.
I mean, it's possible. Like, it's possible. And I'm not saying get rid of your dogs or your cats, but if you think about like the cat parasite, toxoplasmosis, have you heard of the?
Is that the one that affects your mental health?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically it can control your mind. It'll be the inability to feel fear and make you promiscuous because it's like controlling you. And it lives in a mouse. So the mouse cuddles up to the cat, which we all know mice and cat don't like each other. But the next stage of toxo is in an enzyme in the cat's gut. So the mouse goes to the cat eats it, and then it goes to the next stage of toxoplasmosis, and then you poop it out. And we've all been told, oh, if you're pregnant, don't scoop cat poop. But they say that 60% of people have toxoplasmosis. So it's not just if you're pregnant. It's like you got to be conscientious if you're scooping cat poop.
That's only cats.
Only cats can give toxoplasmosis to humans this way. I did get a few people that killed deer and they cut themselves and got toxo from the deer. So I haven't dove into that realm of toxo, but as far as I understand, the way we explain it is always just cats. It's cat parasite, but
okay,
anything's possible because we're all animals.
Yeah. And what about chickens and horses?
So horses have ascariasis, which is large round worm, and that's pretty normal, and that's why they use horse paste, and they should be deworming your horse.
Yep.
Chickens, they usually give like diatomaceous earth, and chickens do also have parasites. I know I've done a few videos where the chicken's eggs have worms in them.
Oh God.
So I know I'll ruin food.
I literally ate my chicken's eggs this morning.
It's okay. You'll see it.
I'll see it, right?
Yeah,
I do always inspect the egg first.
Yes.
Because I'm just like suspicious, Okay.
I will ruin all food. People that come to my channel are like, oh my gosh, I used to eat salmon, but I can't anymore after watching you. Salmon was my favorite food ever. So
I think a lot of people eat it very regularly.
Yeah. You just have to really cook it. And everyone says, oh, you should freeze it, but freezing it doesn't kill it. It's only boiling it will kill a parasite. Yeah. Flash freezing it doesn't.
You know what's funny? I have a memory that I keep thinking about. When I was in college, I was a hostess at a sushi restaurant, and I was horrible at it. So bad. Thank God I figured out my career. But at the restaurant, I remember a customer calling me over on like one of my first days. I'm like, oh shoot, what's wrong? Points at the sushi. There's a worm coming out. And that was the first time I ever was like, oh, do worms... like, are they often in sushi? Is this a common thing? And I remember running to the kitchen. I'm like, there's worms in the sushi. But now I know that it's pretty common to have worms in sushi. So pets, don't make out with your pets.
Right.
I need to stop doing that. I do it with my horse too.
No,
food.
You just need to cleanse.
Yeah, I need to cleanse.
That's it.
I need to cleanse. Food. What are the top culprits?
Meat.
Okay.
Raw produce.
Okay.
Yeah, not soaking your produce correctly.
What's the correct way?
So I do 2 cups of vinegar, half of a lime, 2 tablespoons of sea salt, and filtered or distilled water. And I soak it for 5 to 10 minutes. And then I actually use a Therasage after that, which is an ozone machine. And it's a bubbler. And so we'll do our soaking first. We'll let it soak for 5 to 10 minutes. We'll rinse. And then we'll go and do the ozone machine because you're trying to nourish your body. You're not trying to recontaminate your body with parasites and bacteria because it lives on that, especially organic because, they're not being sprayed. So they really do have a lot more issues going on. So you want to make sure you're soaking all of your produce. Plus, that soak will actually crisp up any of your grapes and keep your produce lasting longer because you're removing the bacteria that's eating on your produce.
Oh, okay. I was just doing baking soda.
A lot of people do baking soda and vinegar, but baking soda and vinegar create a salt. So you don't want to do that because you're actually like just canceling them out.
Got it.
And baking soda just isn't enough,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And how long do you leave it for?
5 to 10 minutes on average. So that's vinegar, salt. I like Baja Gold. That's
Okay.
Yeah, because then you're remineralizing your produce as well, since a lot of minerals are now been removed from our food. So you're remineralizing your produce by soaking it. And then I do the lime to give it a little more acidity. And then I just let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. And then it tastes way better, way better.
Okay, I'm going to start doing that.
It's great.
Maybe we'll write that down and put it in the description box for everyone. You're writing it down. The whole team's writing it down. Seafood.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I know you specifically have spoken about Whole Foods, right? Like the piles of seafood in Whole Foods.
Costco is a big culprit. Actually, okay, so, I live in Seattle.
Yeah.
And Pike Market, which is right there. I lived on 2nd for a while. I really love Seattle. It's great. I went down and I talked with those fishermen and they kind of looked at me and they were like, "What are you meaning? Like there's worms in the fish?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, all fish have worms. Closer to the belly cut has more parasites than further up." And they say that you can, like, if they did like a little sample of salmon and it had like 10,000 eggs in it. I know.
That's crazy.
It is. I'm telling you. Seafood was we love seafood. We were crabbers, Jeremy and I.
Do you feel like that's like a big reason you had a lot of parasites?
Yeah. I mean, we ate sushi in Nevada because he's from Reno and they have like all you can eat sushi there. So we would like eat that all the time, 2 to 3 times a week. And then salmon was my go-to. So I could barbecue a mean salmon. Oh, I know.
So do you ever eat seafood now?
Not salmon. I can't get over what I see.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, after just like scrolling through your TikTok a little bit, I'm like, I don't know if I can eat salmon anymore.
It's tough, man.
Well, it's funny because when I did lab testing and I saw that I had heavy metals, I used to eat tuna a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I stopped eating tuna. I am somewhat conscious of my sushi intake, but I love, love, love sushi. So if we don't want to give up sushi, like what should we be doing before or after to mitigate the parasites?
So for sure you want to cleanse 3 to 4 times a year, but you can actually take Paraffine, Sustain, and Metal Flush right before you eat it to help with the digestion and to make your body inhospitable. And that's why a lot of countries will add antiparasitic foods on their food, like pumpkin seeds on salads, because when it gets into your gut, it actually can, go in there and make them not want to stay and make them leave so they won't burrow in. And especially when you have gut issues like H. pylori or diverticulitis, it's, the way that our bodies are is it's a smooth muscle. And those things go in and cause indentations inside of that smooth muscle. So they just have an opportunity to live in there and constantly and biofilm themselves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the biggest issue with just taking something like not our kit is that you don't have a biofilm buster. We do. It's called lungwort lichen and it's in Metal Flush. It's an herb that we forage. And so it goes in and it breaks that biofilm, exposing them, which that biofilm is basically like an entrance only for your nutrients and nothing comes out of the biofilm. It's a hard shell for them. It's their protector. It's their home.
If you're anything like me, you try to drink a ton of water every day. I swear I fill my Stanley Cup like 3 times, but that's why it is so important to be conscious of your water quality. You guys need to check out AquaTrue. AquaTrue uses a 4-stage reverse osmosis purification process, and their countertop purifiers work with no installation or plumbing. It removes 15 times more contaminants than ordinary pitcher filters and are specifically designed to combat chemicals like PFAs in your water supply. PFAs are found in almost 45% of US tap water, and I'm so grateful that AquaTrue is certified to remove these contaminants. They have water purifiers to fit every home, from installation-free countertop purifiers to higher capacity under-the-sink options. Greg and I have the under-the-sink option, but I feel like the countertop purifiers would make the perfect gift to help everyone in your life have pure, good water quality. Long-term exposure to high concentrations of PFAs can lead to adverse health effects like cancer, endocrine disruption, or liver toxicity. That's why water purification is so important. I have 2 dogs and I want to make sure they are getting the best water possible, and AquaTrue makes that happen. AquaTrue comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and even makes a great gift. Today, my listeners receive 20% off any AquaTrue water purifier. Just go to aquatrue.com/POW. That's AQUATRU.com/POW and automatically receive 20% off any AquaTrue water purifier. That's 20% off any AquaTrue water purifier when you go to aquatrue.com/POW. You guys know I am very particular with my skincare as someone with very acne-prone skin who had cystic acne for 10 years and now has clear skin. I still love using Clearstem. It is the first skincare line that combines all 3 categories: anti-acne, anti-aging, and clean, which means free of hormone disruptors and pore clogging fillers. It really is one of the only skincare brands I trust on the market. The founders, Danielle and Kaylee, are absolutely amazing. They've both struggled with acne themselves and know what it's like. So they formulate their products with so much care to make sure there are no hormone disruptors or pore clogging fillers. They also have an acne lab test, which is helping thousands of people get to the root cause of their acne through comprehensive lab testing and lifestyle-based recommendations. There are so many products from Clearstem I use every single day, like the shampoo and conditioner. I love the gentle cleanser. I love the lip balm. I love the body lotion, all acne safe, which is so important to me, and free of hormone disruptors. As women, we have to be so conscious of the products we're using every single day, and that is why I love Clearstem. Visit clearstemskincare.com and use code POW at checkout for 20% off your first purchase. Again, that's code POW, P-O-W, for 20% off your first purchase at clearstemskincare.com. I've actually heard that sometimes they don't show up on lab tests because of the biofilm.
Yes, that's correct.
That's insane.
They literally are stealthy. They're opportunists, and they will live in you for decades.
Ugh.
And
I'm so freaked out.
I know. Sometimes I get goosebumps when I talk about it. I think everyone thinks, oh, Worm Queen, like she could talk about it. But sometimes I'm like, it is so wild.
You're like, it deeply bothers me too.
I just happen to do it with a smile.
I mean, you have a great attitude around it, and it's like, I think it's making people listen.
Yeah.
But wow, so eye-opening. So they could be hiding behind biofilm.
Yeah. And things like, let's talk about hookworm, right?
Yeah.
So hookworm, it goes on the side of your vein and it absorbs the iron. So people that have anemia really need to be like doing some sort of a parasite cleanse, like Parasite, because it'll go in and it'll absorb all the iron, and it's really hard to detect because it literally looks like the side of your vein.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
They're very hard to detect.
Okay, so I mean, how many types of parasites are there?
Thousands can live in our body, and you could have them living in your body and never even know it until you have some sort of a flare, or you're over, your body is overstressed, and then they start to become overactive. And that's kind of what started happening with me, was that I had a lot of stress, a lot of health issues going on, and they just started to get wild. And then I was being, pelted with worm water. I wasn't drinking the worm water. I was showering, brushing my teeth with it, rinsing my produce off with it, thinking I'm doing the right thing, and brushing my teeth. I think I already said that. Oh, soaking my retainer, just not really even thinking about the fact that my water could be contaminated.
Yeah, let's talk about water. That's a
Yeah.
big one.
I love talking about water.
Let's talk about water.
Water, mushrooms, and worms.
Oh yeah, let's go. And we actually, when we sat down and we have glasses of water next to us, we were both like, is this filtered water? Is the ice filtered? Because after researching you and hearing about, like, you got to really think about everything. And when you're getting a glass of water at a restaurant, is it tap water? Was the ice made in tap water, or is it filtered? So how do we, number one, how do you like to filter your water at your house? And then what do you do when you're traveling and out and about?
Our log home, because we still own our log home. It's finished, by the way. We love it. It was great. We have a 3-filter system with a UV light on the filter system, and then it comes to our house and we have another UV light. Then when it gets into the house, we have a whole remineralization system set up for drinking and our ice. And then we have a soft water filter that helps because now you've kind of hardened your water by removing everything. So now you got to kind of go back in and assist your water. Your hair will and your skin will be not great.
Okay.
So we remineralize it with a reverse osmosis that has like an add back system. So I think by the time it gets to us, it's about 7 to 8 filters before it gets to us. And again, we know that water is contaminated. So we're even extra cautious.
Right.
Then we moved to Seattle and we have an apartment in Seattle, which I tested their water as well. And it tested positive.
For what?
Nematodes.
What's that?
It's the physical worm.
Oh.
So there's parasites, which is like crypto, defragiles, and giardia. A lot of people know what giardia is. And then there's nematodes, which are worms.
Okay.
So it tested positive for worms.
And you wouldn't be able to see that?
No, not normally. I saw it in our water in Hoodsport, and that's kind of what started making me, I saw something funky in the water. And I'm like, gosh, this really is not, this water is looking real weird. And we even had a filter coming into our travel trailer while we were building, and I could still see something. So not all filters are created equal.
Right.
You have to be really conscientious about that. You usually want to look for a filter that is 5 micron or smaller.
Okay.
Because nematodes are 40 micron. So, and then other things like heavy metals, pharmaceuticals. So the more of those things you have, then the smaller the micron is.
Okay, got it. So something like, do you know what AquaTrue is?
AquaTrue is good, but you have to look to see what their micron is.
Okay.
AquaTrue can have, it's like a cloth filter. If you think about what a micron is, it's how many layers of a cloth filter goes in and how much it like goes inside of the filter.
Okay. I need to check that because I have a filtration system on the whole house. Like I added it when we first got the house because I was like, with my acne, I was like, I need to be taking every precaution. I need to check the microns. And then how do you feel about shower filters? Like, you know, VitaClean, Jolie's, that type of thing.
From what I've researched, they don't have a micron.
Okay.
They just have the add back minerals. And that's what's making your hair great and your skin better. But is it getting rid of the 40 micron nematode? Is it, you know, is it getting rid of that? And that's what you have to look for when you're looking for filters.
How about, okay, we talked about your restructured water. What is that?
It's basically where they go in and it's oxygenated.
Okay.
And it's also like 8.0 or, you know, because our body, you're trying to bring your body to a homeostasis level with water. So our skin is like a 6.0, which is what I usually wash my face with. And then your body is around a 7.5. So you're trying to bring down the acidity or the alkaline of your body. And that's why you go in, you get a restructured water in order to have your pH be balanced because you're trying to give your body nutrients with your water and kind of bring your body into that 7.5, which is really where you should target your homeostasis levels.
Is there a brand that you buy?
I like Aphora.
Aphora, okay.
Yeah, they're really great.
Yeah.
They're a little pricey, but it's worth it. You don't have to drink as much of it. It hydrates your cells versus just drinking the water. And that's kind of the difference between the way we've always thought about water and the way that water hydrates you and actually heals your cells going in and actually pushing anything out. It can cause some detox feelings when you do drink this type of water, but man, it is so much better. I can tell, especially when we travel, it's hard because We just find what we can when we're traveling. We just buy like the best type of water we can. And you can tell when you're drinking very good water to just, okay, I'm just drinking water to like hydrate myself a little.
So what are you grabbing like while you're in Austin, for example?
Usually like Mountain Valley or Evian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Mountain Valley is like one of the good ones.
Because they're in glass.
Yeah.
I try and stay in glass as much as possible.
Okay.
I'll do plastic. We have plastic today, but it's just because that's like what you have to do when you're traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at restaurants, what are you asking for?
I get the dirty looks, by the way, when I do this. So just know you're going to get dirty looks.
You shouldn't, though.
It's so weird. It's
Everyone should
so
be doing
weird.
this.
They should. You should really want to continue keeping your temple as clean as possible. And it's not just worrying about the tap water. It's also, how did the ice come out of the ice machine? Is it moldy? Because it's gross. Like, you have to clean these machines. And like, let's be honest, people don't always care about what they're doing at their job.
Yeah.
So I usually say I'd like a glass, no ice, and sparkling water, whatever you've got. And sometimes I have little lime packets, or I'll ask for a lime if they have a bar.
Why does the lime help?
It just helps create a better atmosphere in the water, like brings it more acidity and just tastes better too, but it brings acidity to it.
Also, just sorry to hop back, but you mentioned pumpkin seeds helping create an inhospitable environment. Are there any other foods that can help with that?
Papaya.
Oh.
I'm not a big papaya seed cleanser, but like if you do them here and there. I'm trying to think of what else I like to eat that's antiparasitic.
Oh, ginger?
Ginger's really good.
Okay.
Just anything that is a bitter.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't like bitter. That's why wormwood works so well. That's why we put in the Parasite kit, we put wormwood, Oregon grapefruit. Those are all bitters.
Got it.
They don't like that at all. It makes them go crazy and it paralyzes them, and then they want to leave.
Okay, that's what we want.
Yeah, we want them to be gone.
We want them out.
Yeah.
Let's go into cleansing.
Okay.
I have questions about cleansing. We've talked a little bit about Parafy. I know you have some other ones too. You have a mold one.
Right.
And gutty.
Right. Gutty. We have Parafy, and we have multiple kits, and then you can also buy the tinctures by themselves. But we have Parafy moldies because I had mold poisoning and it was very difficult to find a great mold cleanse. Very difficult. And then we have a support kit, which is kind of a combo of the moldies and the Parafy. It's one of my favorite tinctures. And then we have Red Artist, which is my favorite tincture next to Sustain. And then we have Fulvic and Gutty.
Okay. What should people expect? Let's talk about Parafy. What should they expect to happen when they do this cleanse?
Usually you're going to get some flu-like symptoms, which we call die-offs.
Okay.
When these things are dying off, they're peeing, pooping, and dropping toxins into your body. And so you want to go in and create as much assistance as possible. And the way I usually explain how I decided on the herbs is that each herb has its own frequency and each ailment has its own. And so it's kind of like the opera singer singing and breaking the glass. Her voice got to the same level as that glass, so it shattered. If you can find the frequency of that ailment, you can actually go in with that herb and shatter that ailment. So as I did my own detoxing and my own cleansing, I went through all of my symptoms: headache, white willow bark. So I brought in white willow bark. Heavy metals were being dropped out of the physical worm itself because they can hold 6 times their normal weight in spores, heavy metals, bacteria, and toxins.
Ew.
So what do you need to do to bring that in and clean it out? So I brought in usnea. Usnea is Mother Nature's doxycycline. It can go in and help assist with removing viruses and bacteria. So they're dropping those. So you got to go in and, right? So that's the frequency of it. And I really love Oregon grapefruit. It is by far one of my favorite antiparasitic herbs. It's also a berbein, so it helps with inflammation. It helps kind of curb your appetite because as you're deworming, they're wanting to be fed to stay alive. They are wanting to be strengthened. So you're eating things you would never eat. I sat and ate hamburgers and ice cream, and I don't eat hamburgers and ice cream when I first did my cleanse. And I'm like, why am I eating this? I don't understand what's happening. It's because they want to stay strong. You're weakening them. And they're like, no, man, keep me strong. So eat the things like sugar. They thrive off of it.
So what's the diet you should be doing while cleansing?
Well, right now we have you doing as strict diet as possible, a candida diet, which is no sugar, no carbs, no meat, which I've done some research and found that actually it's a good thing to eat some protein while you're doing these cleanses. So I'm kind of rewriting I'll give like 2 different types of cookbooks soon. That's kind of on my list of things I'm doing. And so no alcohol. You're really just trying over the 30 days to just really hone in on, is this your root cause? What else can I do to my body to kind of aid it? And that's what it is. It's really just curving some of your food. And I think that's the hardest part for people.
I would imagine the diet's challenging. I've sort of followed a candida diet in the past. I mean, I used to eat so strict when my acne was bad because I was convinced every food was giving me acne. It's tough. It's a very restricting lifestyle, but it can be a good tool when you need it.
I feel like if you're not going to do the diet, it's okay.
Really?
I would prefer people to just do the cleanse. If you're not going to do the diet, don't have that stop you. Your taste buds are going to change. They're in our mouth. So your taste buds are going to change. And as you're doing it, you're going to have a better feeling. You're going to feel like you want to take care of your food intake, and you're going to understand food better.
Yeah.
But like, just get the herbs in you. That's really what makes this so successful. The tinctures get in, and they don't mess around with stomach acid. They get in, they get right into your bloodstream. That's why tinctures are so great. And you're going to start to feel better. And then you're going to go, oh, wait, I could do other things because I'm feeling better. Don't rely so heavily on the diet.
I feel like even eliminating sugar and alcohol is like a good start.
Yes, huge.
Yeah.
Huge start. And it's so hard. I get it. It's so hard. But it's a good start.
So, okay, let's say you're doing the cleanse and things are coming out. Are they coming out dead or alive? Is that crazy to say?
No, not even.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, it's such a question that's asked all the time. Okay, so mostly dead.
Okay.
That's the goal. That's why it's great to have a kit with Parafy, because you're binding. We have a binder. So it's 3 tinctures in a binder. So you're binding. You're utilizing herbs that will paralyze them and off them, and then they come out. But I mean, it's not always that way. I had a worm swim out of my feet and it was alive. And I was shocked. Like, I have videos where I'm sitting there, I'm like, nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, seconds later, something's swimming in the water. And yeah, so they're not always dead when they come out, but mostly that's the goal, is mostly to have them dead.
Do you get sent crazy videos?
So many.
Like, of what?
Well, I've had people send me a picture of them peeing.
Stop. Your DMs are probably insane.
Wild. They're wild.
You're like, this is inappropriate. I don't want to see your butthole. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Toilet, a lot of toilet pictures. People's babies' diapers, a lot. That one really hits me hard.
Oh, that's sad.
I know.
You can't do a cleanse on a baby, can you?
No, it's ages 3 and up.
Okay.
Really is, when we're one of the few parasite cleanses that children can take.
Because it's all natural.
Yeah, it's all natural. It's gentle. Like,
Yeah.
It's very effective, but it is gentle. But my DMs are wild. I do have a team that helps me now because they've gotten,
You have to.
thousands. I mean, you understand.
Yeah.
I mean, you have like 1.5 million, so I can only imagine what.
Well, I'm not getting like butthole pics
Oh
though.
my God. Butthole, worms, like poop. Like, it's when you come work for us, it's your first question. Like, do you get bothered by poop, worms?
Because you're going to be looking at it
Because you're
every
going to be
day.
looking at them every day. Emails, we get email pictures. We actually have a 600-page parasite identification ebook that's free in my profile. It's in 2 parts so that you can get a better idea of what you're looking at when you look in the toilet, because there just isn't anything out there.
That's amazing.
So I think I have like 15,000 pictures that I've collected over the last 3 years doing this because I'm easy to talk to. You can send me anything. I'm willing to look at it, and I usually can identify it.
And people are probably freaked out.
Oh, freaked out. I was freaked out. There was no one when I started going viral and talking about this. Literally, I mean, there wasn't any colleagues that I could go and talk with. They all thought I was nuts. You know, like, it's okay. I mean, I'm okay to be nuts, but like,
no, but I mean, if you're
no
getting
one.
that many photos, it's clearly happening to I mean, is it safe to say we all have a parasite?
85 to 90% is what they say, but I would say it's about 95% of us have a parasite. 95, I would say.
Crazy.
Yeah, but statistically, it's between 1.5 and 2 billion people in the world. So,
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of people. And with other countries cleansing like Mexico, Guatemala, Jamaica uses a tea called the Bush, and they drink it monthly.
Oh.
Yeah, we did a lot of cruising instead of doing like anything else. We would go on the cruise, and I would talk with all of the people on the cruise because they all live in other countries. So I'd be like, so do you guys parasite cleanse? And they're like, yeah, don't you? I'm like, well, I do, but
I'm the worm queen. So
yeah, I am the worm queen.
you're like, you came to the right person. Yes, I do. I mean, most people don't even discuss this as a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, last crazy question I have. What is the biggest parasite you've seen?
A tapeworm.
How big is that?
Well, so the ones that I've seen have filled like the bottom of a large mason jar.
Oh my God.
But they can grow up to like 30, 40 feet, and they can live in you for decades.
Ugh.
And they can lay 1 million eggs a day. And each one of the segments can have up to 46 uteruses. So I don't have a tapeworm. I'm very fortunate.
How would you know if you had a tapeworm?
Oh, you'd see little rice in your poop. That's their eggs. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They just, RFK Jr. had a tapeworm in his brain, and it ate some of his brain. Yeah.
Did he just talk about that?
Yeah, like 6 or 7 months ago.
I think I saw that.
Mm-hmm. It's very common when you eat undercooked pork. It's very common when you eat pork.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, pork is a huge factor in tapeworms.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't eat that much pork.
No, I don't eat pork anymore either, which is tough because I really like bacon and it's crispy. Yeah. So there's probably nothing left. But like, again, I can't get past the
risk of it.
I can't even get past the thought. Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, when I was listening to some of the podcasts you've been on, I think there was a girl who was saying she had like a foot long, like black, what was it called?
Mucoid plaque. Or ropeworm.
Ropeworm.
Which a lot of people will say ropeworm doesn't exist, but it really does exist. And I've seen it, and it's in our parasite identification book, and it wraps around causing back problems. And the gutty helps with ropeworm. People that take gutty, it really gets in there and like pressure washes your colon. So just like in your heart, you have plaque that builds up in your colon. And so you got to go in there and help kind of alleviate that. We eat a lot of greasy food in life. So why not just give yourself a little bit of extra boost? But ropeworm is a thing. It can regenerate itself. So it's really kind of a taboo subject for a lot of people.
And just for anyone listening so I told you I'm going through IVF right now. People listening who are pregnant, they should wait to cleanse.
Correct.
Okay.
You can't cleanse while you're pregnant, breastfeeding, under the age of 3, on blood thinners or chemo meds. It's highly not recommended.
Okay. Because
it has nothing to do with parasite. It's the wormwood and the Oregon grapefruit. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's what it is. It's the herbs. It's not parasite itself. It's actually the herbs say not to.
And because it like cleans everything out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to go in and just flush your system entirely. Now, if you're wanting to get pregnant, we've had a few people take our cleanse and have had a lot of success because your body something's not eating off of you anymore. So your body feels ready.
I've actually heard of that happening. I feel like when I was trying to conceive and I found the H. pylori, I was like, oh, this could have been something getting in the way. Who knows? Let's talk about other ways of detoxing the body. What are some other things you do outside of the cleanse to detox regularly?
not just detox, but things that I do to continue to supplement my body, which helps with detoxing. I do things like hyperbaric chamber, which is oxygen therapy, and that goes in and detox my cells by pushing out toxins and basically assisting my cells in getting oxygen. I do a lot of red light. It's one of my favorite things. I do castor oil to help my body detoxify and just feel better. What else do I do?
I love castor oil packs.
Castor oil is the best. Have you done it with red light?
No, and I actually heard you. I heard you recommend that, and I was like, I need to do that. I would do the pack before the sauna, sweat it out, or I would wear it overnight, and that really helps you go to the bathroom, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Why does red light help?
Because it penetrates the castor oil deeper.
Okay.
So the red light gets through multiple layers of the derma, and then it pushes the castor oil further and further down.
And do you just put it on your stomach?
Yeah, I usually do my abdomen and my neck.
Okay.
And then I just like bask in the red light. I love it.
Best.
I love to do biohacking stacking because I don't have a lot of time anymore. So if I'm on my vibration plate, I'm doing weights and I'm sitting in front of the red light, and I'll usually do some castor oil. So I do it all at once.
Yep. I love a habit stack.
Yeah.
I do my red light while listening to like positive affirmations.
Smart.
Red light's a good time to do multiple things at once, I feel like.
It is.
Castor oil is a great idea.
Yeah, it's the best. I really don't do a lot of packs, to be honest. I usually will sit with red light and castor oil, or I'll get into my infrared sauna and I'll just slather myself in castor oil and I'll just chill in there. Because now I'm doing multiple levels of detoxing.
Yeah. And it's important to do. How often are you doing that?
I try and do it 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay. So pretty frequently.
Yeah.
And oxygen therapy, is that the same thing as ozone?
No, ozone is its own therapy. You can do ozone. I usually will do ozone in my mouth. I'll put it in my water pick. And because Lyme can live in your mouth and cause you to have cavities and issues in your mouth. And so I'll ozone my mouth with my water pick to get rid of the bacteria that is actually causing you to have cavities. So ozone goes in, and I use the bubbler from Therasage. It's great. It's one of my favorite things.
Do you use that in your mouth, or is that a separate tool?
I make water. And then I put the ozone water in my water pick, and then I water pick my mouth.
Okay, because I was doing, when I had acne and I was like, felt like I had mold and all this stuff, I would go do ozone IVs every week.
Nice.
And I would sit there for ages, and they would do the ozone light on the blood. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what you can do.
Yeah, and people would do it up their butt sometimes.
Yeah,
like
you can do ozone enemas, which are really great because they can help remove different types of bacteria, parasites, diverticulitis. Like you're going in and it gets up into your liver, so it's like removing bacterias. But yeah, I do NAD.
Yeah.
But I haven't done ozone IV yet. It is on my list for 2025.
I think you'd like it. I felt like I had crazy die-off symptoms every time I did it. Like I would be really tired. It got better and better and better as I kept going. My husband kind of made fun of me because he thought it was like BS.
No, it's not though.
I don't think it's BS.
It's cleaning your blood.
Yes.
Like our blood is our source. It's our oil in our body.
Yes. And they say, I guess they use it in Germany as a form of an antibiotic almost.
Yes. Yeah. Germany has great medical studies. They use wormwood for patients that have MS. Germany has amazing medical system. They're very smart. They're one of the leading for Lyme.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So Lyme seems to be, is it like when you have Lyme and parasites, do they kind of feed off of each other?
They do. It's a co-infection.
Okay.
So it's usually parasites, mold, and Lyme. And when you start to detox mold, it kind of exposes them because it's a spirochete that burrows like MS into your muscle, and it stays there. And they also have a very hard biofilm that protects them. So it kind of goes in, and like wormwood can help break that with different biofilm busters. And then they feel exposed. So then they're kind of removing themselves out of, and you can feel it. I can feel when my Lyme is dying off.
So wild.
It's wild.
So wild. I feel like when I got rid of some of my mold and heavy metals, that's when things got exposed.
Yes.
And we talked about on lab results, you mentioned EOS.
Right.
What is that?
Eosinophils.
Okay.
So it's just an indicator that you have parasites or fungus in your blood. So usually if it's high, and again, if you look at your labs, which you're allowed to have your labs printed, and it's a high number next to the number, it'll give you a range. That high number, it will end up showing you that you have something going on, whether it's mold or parasites or both. And my range was above a 1. And I have my medical records from when I was born, which is kind of funny. And I've always had a high number. That's how I'm able to kind of track back what was going on with me.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's a really good indication.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine is a little bit elevated.
And it could be elevated if you're having issues with any sort of cold and you're getting it done, but I recommend getting blood work done over the full moon. That's usually what I recommend for people
Okay.
because it'll give you the most heightened issues.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I always thought it was timed with like the women's menstrual cycle.
When you're having the most flare or when you should get your blood work.
I guess when you should get your blood work done.
I mean, your body is in more heightened when you're having your woman's time, but as far as when parasites are the most active, it is during the full moon is when they're the most active.
Okay.
So if you're having a lot of flares during a full moon, you should really consider looking at why.
Yeah.
And that's what I started doing. And that's kind of what was wild about when I watched this girl who did a parasite cleanse, went viral over it as well, about how she almost unalived herself over worms. I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, like I literally have flares almost every full moon.
Wild.
This is crazy because I mark everything on a calendar to just, oh, I didn't feel well today. What's going on?
Or like I didn't sleep last night.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to definitely take note of that and check next time.
Because it's a real thing. When they say people are crazy in the ER, I worked in the ER, they really are during a full moon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about mental health.
Okay.
That seems like a good bridge here. How could we talked a little bit about plasmosis. How could having a parasite affect our mental health?
Well, they can control your mind. So it's not always you acting like that. It literally is a living thing inside of you, and it can control your nervous system and it can get into your brain. And so it can cause you to have anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, split personality. And if all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, that's not really how I feel. Why did I say that? You could have something living inside of you causing you to do those things.
It makes me think about like when I was in college and I was going through such a hard time and just feeling I would make like very spontaneous decisions and put myself in dangerous situations. And yes, alcohol was definitely a part of that, but I always felt like something was off with me.
Yeah.
And even now I've heard you say sort of like OCD tendencies could pop up.
Yes.
I feel like I have a very obsessive personality and it comes out every now and again. Is that something that could be tied into parasites too?
Yes, for sure. It can be tied into that and environmental toxins, not just parasites themselves, but Lyme, strep, Epstein-Barr virus. A lot of people I have Epstein-Barr virus and strep in my brain. And I did a Zoomer and it showed that I have OCD in my brain. And it is from the environmental toxins that I've been exposed to. Wow. So it's, it really is a great way to kind of start pulling the onion layers off and finding out what's going on, because it's not just one thing normally.
What would you say to people who don't want to talk about this topic? And like, what's your mission with what you're doing?
I would tell people, first off, you can always come to us. Literally, we have this huge community. We have over 1 million followers at this point. So it's not just me doing this. It's all of us. We all understand what this looks like. And your story could inspire someone else and heal and help someone else. And you just don't know what they're suffering from without you opening up as well. And that's kind of where I've been so successful, because I am opening up about something that no one really wants to talk about because they think it's embarrassing, but it is an issue.
Yeah.
This is a huge issue, and other countries don't have problems talking about it, but Western medicine countries do. And that's really where running a business that I run, am able to see these countries who really need to talk about this. It's a health issue. And it's not something to be embarrassed about. It's not something that you should hide from. It's so easy to just go and take our cleanse for 30 days, see what's going on, see if anything comes out, and make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I mean, it's really a spiritual thing as well. You start to connect more with your body and your mind, and you start to feel better. You're not sitting here going, what's wrong with me? Why did I do this? Or why did I feel this way? Why am I always sick? You're not sick. The body is meant to heal itself. Literally, when you cut yourself, it wants to heal itself. It's just protecting yourself from any sort of environmental toxins.
Yeah. And I feel like just from hearing your story and message, it's about kind of facing things head on too. I think a lot of us would rather pretend that nothing's happening, and if I don't see it, it's not really going on. But this is about like facing it head on, and also hearing stories of it happening to so many other people.
Yes.
It kind of makes me feel better about doing something like this. And I'm sure people listening too. My final question for you is one I ask every guest that comes on the show.
Okay.
What does wellness mean to you?
Wellness means knowing what's going on with your body and being your own advocate.
Hell yeah. I love that so much. Kim, where can everyone find you and the cleanses online?
You can find me on Mrs. Rogers Hood on TikTok and mrsrogers.hood on Instagram, Threads, YouTube. We're on rogershood.com as our website, and our company just is so thankful that we have this opportunity to be able to share all of our knowledge.
You're doing amazing things. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wellness podcast. To support this show, please rate and review and share with your loved ones. If you want to be reminded of new episodes, click the subscribe button on your preferred podcast or video player. You can sign up for my newsletter to receive my favorites at marilewellen.com. It will be linked in the show notes. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson, Fiona Attix, and Kelly Kyle. This show is edited by Mike Fry, and our video is recorded by Luis Vargas. You can also watch the full video of each episode on our YouTube channel at Mari Fitness. Love you, Power Girls and Power Boys. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team.